Welcome back. I'm Connie Colosi, and I have with me today Sarah Truelson, and we're talking about the Summer Technology Integration Camp, and we had about 136 teachers participate in this summer. We just looked at a program they use called Nearpod, and we're going to take a look at some other interesting information. You know, one of the big concerns, areas of interest, we're teaching students of all ages, starting in kindergarten all the way up to seniors in high school, about coding, the basics of coding. And we got involved this summer in a activity, and we didn't use computers at all, which sounds kind of crazy. So I need to know more about it. Sarah, tell us about what you did.
Absolutely. So one of the cool things when you're teaching kids about coding is you have to kind of establish that background knowledge. And there's a lot of activities that are called Unplugged Activities that you can use through code.org and Thinkerspaces and all sorts of different things where kids are doing hands-on activities but starting to talk in the language of a computer programmer. So we did an activity with a group of teachers this summer to show them how they can kind of change up some of those getting to know you activities that kids get sick of doing and put a little bit more of a twist on technology and getting them thinking about other options that they have.
So what are we going to see here?
You're actually going to see the teachers participating in an activity called Robotic Friends, where they have to take on the role of a robot. They have to take on the role of programmers and build a code so that when this robot comes in the room, we send the robot out of the room. When the robot comes back, they actually have to look at a code that they've made out of arrows and decipher how they have to stack this group of cups. And we really start talking to the kids about the language that you would use when you're trying to figure out if your code works, if you have to debug your code, the functions that you create to have different scenarios. So it's a lot of fun, and the teachers just had a blast. And we literally had kindergarten to high school English teachers doing these activities together.
All right, well, I'm a visual person, so let's take a look.
Yes. Basically, what we do first is we talk to the students or the teachers about our language. So what's the vocabulary? How are they going to talk? We show them the symbols that they're going to use to write their code. So they have up arrows and down arrows and 90-degree turn arrows. And they have a group of folks that are known as the programmers, and one of them is the coder who has to write out this code. So they have to write out the symbols to tell the robot that kind of leaves the room how they're going to stack the cups. Once they have their code down, then the robots come back in the room and they can't talk. So all they can do is look at this code of arrows that's been designed and use it to move a stack of plastic cups into certain shapes or configurations.
I kind of felt like I was behind the times a little bit. I mean, I've always been comfortable using technology, but the idea of actually understanding how technology is built and maybe, you know, making it a non-threatening thing for me to learn makes me want to use it with my children. And actually my teaching partner and I were talking about what a great club this would make at our school, or even an enrichment, you know, have children set some goals, and this would be a great thing that they would want to do. I mean, when they see the people that have been involved in coding and have set up this code.org, some of the people that create their video games and Facebook and, you know, Bill Gates, I mean, all the big guys in technology, that they've created this to allow children to learn how to code. This is such an important skill for them to know going into the future, because technology is prevalent in everything that we do today, from our phones to our readers to, you know, what they're going to need to know when their jobs, when they grow up and need to get into the workforce. I think this is something really important for them to learn. And if we as teachers can learn more about it, then we can provide opportunities for them to become interested in the technology and the coding.
If they have issues, then they know they have to debug it. So if the robot does something, they follow the code and it doesn't work the way they think, then they have to kind of send the robot away, and they have to look at their code again and figure out where did they go wrong, what mistake did they make that they can fix. And what's cool about it too is the robots have that chance to really think critically as they're looking at all those symbols and think about what does it mean. And sometimes the robots even make mistakes, and you know, we talk to them about what do you do on a computer if you think it's not functioning as it should. Well, you have to start it, you have to turn it off and turn it back on. So sometimes they have to restart their robot and let them try that again. Just make sure they it wasn't their mistake and not the code. Code.org is where these come from, in Thinkerspaces, and they really are K through 12 that they can do it. This particular activity works with age groups from kindergarten through high school to start, again, getting kids thinking about coding. We even have English teachers who are going to do it next year because they think it's a good way for the kids to build that culture in their classroom, but also kind of ride along with, hey kids, did you know that there are jobs out there when you graduate from high school that involve computer science, and you don't have to be a perfect mathematician or scientist to be able to be good at coding.
I'm actually one of the STEM Academy facilitators at my school for 4th and 5th graders. So we've done a little bit of coding through HTML, and we did a code.org hour of code back in December. But this was the first time I really did an activity with unplugged coding, where using the same concepts but more of a hands-on, away from a computer activity. And I thought it was great because it encouraged a lot more collaboration and conversation amongst the people in the group, where sometimes it is a little easy to get behind your computer screen. So I thought it was a great way to introduce coding without having the technology component just yet.
This particular activity would last for one class period, but we have some folks who it gives them extensive cards and cup stacks that they can do. So some of them start off really simple, maybe 3 cups, and they can get really huge and involve 12 or 13. So we have folks who actually do this activity a couple times throughout the school year, and then they eventually have the kids design their own cup stacks and write the code to make those work with their robots. So it's however they want to use it with their students. It'll last however long they need it to.
We felt, as the instructional technology, academic computing department, that this was really important. But this is the first summer that we have incorporated it into our training with our teachers, and it went really well. After that kind of hands-on physical activity, we showed them some resources online and different ways to get their kids started with coding. We talked about ways that they could realistically kind of incorporate it into their classroom and with their kids, whether it's an after-school club or part of a technology center, just different ways to kind of infuse it. It correlates really well with, it goes along really well with math and science. And I know that the STEM department has been doing a little bit with coding already as well. We're just we also feel like it's a really important part, and it should be an important part of instructional technology.
And I think coding is just such an up-and-coming thing in our world, and we really need to prepare our students to be able to have careers, because pretty much any job you need some sort of technology literacy, even if you're not a software engineer. So I think it's wonderful to make it available to all students as early as kindergarten.
So Sarah, a couple times you mentioned code.org.
Yes.
What is that?
Well, it's this great organization that was created by Hadi Patel, and he is actually the creator of Internet Explorer. And so, obviously he's done well, and he wanted to give back, and he started with just a few celebrity videos. So he got together folks like Bill Gates or will.i.am, different ones, basketball stars that also love computer science, and started doing videos just to inspire kids and start them thinking about this as an option, because you really, we don't have enough people going into this field to even supply the jobs that are out there. There's a bigger job demand in this field than there are people to fill it, and we don't see that often with careers right now. So he started doing it, and it just kind of exploded and blossomed. And so instead of just having these videos to inspire kids, he started actually creating some tools on a website and a way of work so that kids and teachers could actually learn code, practice code, and have programs to actually do it for free. So it's not something that you have to pay for, which is really exciting. I'm going to pull up for you the website so you can see what it looks like. And I've already gone there, but it's really simple. So you just have to remember code.org, literally, right there, and its little symbol. And you'll notice right away here we have a basketball star that he laughingly says, that he loves coding, and his friends used to make fun of him, but, he has friends now who have really good jobs because the groups of ones who hung out with had that. But when you go in, it's really easy. Teachers can sign up for, again, a free account. And once you get in the system, you can actually go through as a teacher and do all sorts of different activities. One of the most fun things to do is Code Studio. So I'm going to click on this. And Code Studio uses a program called Blockly. And basically what it is it starts the student, or I'm literally still in course 1, so even adults, it starts you in learning what it means to set up different codes with blocks and moving them around, and kids move around little butterflies or flowers, and they're watching how the code changes. And as you go through, it adds different options so that now this is what happens when a code repeats. This is what happens when you tell it to go right, and they actually see a little screen with a little monster or a bee or something else moving around. It's just an awesome resource.
Well, there's a lot of us that love playing video games, and this sounds like it's related to playing video games. You said that a high school English teacher was using this. Why would she want to use this?
Well, what's exciting about it is, you know, especially with the Unplugged Activities, they can kind of use them with that twist of, you know, building that culture. So, you know, we get sick of doing the pass around the ball and say your name and your favorite animal kind of activities that kids do all the time. So it makes a little bit more of an importance and connects the students in. But what's nice is even with English, you're also in high school trying to help kids to decide what they want to do with the rest of their lives. And so I think it's important in all of the subjects that we're exposing them to as many options as we can.
And quite frankly, I'm just seeing a lot of critical thinking, which is critical no matter the topic.
Yeah.
So the Summer Technology Integration Program was provided and sponsored by the referendum.
Yes.
And the referendum not only supports technology, but literacy, arts, performing arts, visual arts, and not only that, teacher salaries. So we are fortunate that we can provide this for teachers. It certainly is over and top of what we would normally be able to do. So what are the chances somebody could get in on the Summer Technology Integration Program next summer?
Well, all they have to do is just, you know, keep an eye out on PLN. We are in our office, we're working on better ways of advertising out what we're offering so that we get lots and lots of people on there clamoring to sign up. It worked really well, and this year it was a 2-day, so it wasn't something where you had to devote an entire week of your summer, so they came for 2 days. And, you know, just kind of keep a lookout. Also in Chalk Talk, usually we'll advertise there for our institutes, and anybody who's interested in learning more about coding can also sign up to go to one of the code.org Saturday sessions, and they offer free full-day sessions all across the state where you can go and get more training on using that as well.
All right, well, I appreciate your leadership in this. I know a lot of people in the county rely on your vast knowledge of this topic, and we'll look forward to talking with you more about technology here in Pinellas County.
Thank you.
That wraps us up for this section of digital learning, and next coming up we're going to learn more about Office 365.